Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today we have an episode for Living World of Darkness for the Guru venue. In today's scene, we have Logan Gravis, Aeolus's blade, after his howl directed at Licks Your Face, the alpha of the Memento Memori, has been taking some time and waiting below the ruins of the clock tower, where in the Umbra, the clock tower is not so ruined.
I imagine the clock tower being a glorious landmark and foundation with all the trappings of Gothic atmosphere, with the gargoyles, with the big spindly collar, and very damning hands upon those that would forsake it.
I imagine that too. But mostly Logan is there for the wee little bat spirits that have taken up residence still around it, having promised them to build them a place on the Tellurian side for sanctuary. He's getting to know them.
All right. Cheep, 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 cheep. And they echo in cries of their echolocation, momentum voices, even though there's really no such sense of sound or reason for sound in the translation thereof into the real world to the spiritual world, but they still do it. Interesting thing that maybe this is some sort of dependence mechanism that they have, or maybe it's just something they do. Now, quite a bit of ways off of we will see the Snow. Tom Snow as he is right now. He decided to go with this Hispo form for a while. There are about to be a lot of grim things happening. And thus people have seen that the Hispo side of it is very grim indeed, while the Lupus side is much more fluffy and happy to do as he pleases. What an interesting dichotomy that is risen as he walks to the landmark known as the clock, with the spindly wheels for hands, as he walks towards it, with the Twizzlers in hand, actually.
He'll see Logan eventually sitting on a stone bench. And whereas Snow has chosen to take up his Hispo form, you'll notice that Logan, on the other hand, is in his birth form. Not threateningly in his birth form. In fact, if Snow reaches into that primal part of himself and tries to sense Logan, he'll notice that all of his rage is gone for the day.
All right, fair enough. I imagine this hulking man beast who is surprisingly placid, I said, whereas many people who take on the form are typically out of control of themselves. Creates an interesting dichotomy. Walks up very carefully. Sort of to the side, zigzagging a bit. Not really sure of how to approach this situation. More of caution rather than ultimately giving up. And as he sees some of the bat spirits, he mimics something of a little bit of their echolocation, almost as if a declaration, I am here.
Logan, who at the time of Snow's walking up was in the middle of feeding the bad spirits a point of his gnosis, will look up after a few moments and I assume even if this is Snow's first time seeing Logan's war form meshed with the spirit heritage of Bat, he doesn't necessarily.
It is an interesting infusion. Fusion. I imagine what looks to be vestigial or maybe very real wings on his arms, and perhaps a very pronounced ears and a very unusual snout pushed back into more of a bat snout.
Yes. Where normally his arms would be unconnected to the rest of his body. Snow can see that there is a webbing between them. Not enough to produce, not enough to be able to produce flight, but enough that it looks odd. His face is squished, and there seems to be no flesh in between his bottom jaws and his top. He has no cheeks.
Cool.
And yet, as he talks, because this is only a spiritual visage, he is understood. Thank you. Before we begin, I have to say, when I howled for your presence, I was angry. I was very angry. And this anger wasn't necessarily directed at you. For that, I apologize.
Many people are angry for many different reasons. It is not something I'm unaccustomed to. It is not an excuse or a forgiveness that you have to make here.
I want to talk to you about Alan.
Oh, go on. Crick, crick, crack, crick. As his neck sort of does one of those to the side motions. See?
The other night, I spent a great deal of time with him in the North Forest. It was after that incident where your pack tried to help save Bettina.
Go on. If you have something to say, it is best to let it loose rather than cage it behind your teeth, where it will stalk the intended persons with like a tiger behind cage bars.
What are you doing to help with his suicidal tendencies?
Okay. I'd expect something different from this conversation. Do you know what we call ourselves?
The Memento Memori.
Do you know what that means?
Alan says it means we choose when we go.
It has a many plethora meanings and translations and phrases. Here's both grim and both good. Let's see. I've heard one say he had to be he remember to be mortal, thus live, if like you would die. Or that is, you die because you are mortal, or remember that you are mortal. Many different phrases and meaning to the same couple of Greek or Latin letters and words.
Words tend to do that.
Hmm. Now, do you know what totem we ascribe to? My back, at least.
Merlin,
Indeed. How much do you know of Merlin?
to be honest, very little.
Then I shall tell you a little bit. Merlin is a talent of respect from my tribe, from the European branch. It is that of grappling. It is that of stamina, of toughness. It is a cousin of eagle. Oh, but it is also something else. It is the totem of the underdog, of those bigger than ourselves, of fights we should not fight but have to anyways, and of causes maybe we should not take up but do anyways.
I understand that. And I respect that. I respect knowing that duty comes before personal safety. And that
Continue.
your pack prescribes to that. But Alan, it seems, has taken that one step farther in his, what's the word?
Fool's errand quest.
No. It seems every time that I see him, he is but a stone's throw away from Arno.
Horano. That's an interesting phrase. It seems to litter our community right now. That's why you have to laugh. You have to laugh. Beings of such immense fear and destruction called down to whimpering pups. Let me tell you a story. Alan comes from a broken sept, a sept that no longer stands and no longer is here. And he survives. Why does he survive?
Because he is a strong guru, from what I can see.
He is clever, he is smart, herder. Then he is clever and he is smart. But he would have thrown himself into that battle as well. Thrown himself into that character just as easily as his brothers and sisters, mothers and brothers and fathers would have.
Yeah.
Yes. And he is a child of Gaia. A very interesting choice of work. Focusing for peace and clarity and mercy. But I also give you something else. He has more fury in him than I do.
The tail weavers of our kind often do.
So, your question. What am I doing for Alan? I'm giving him a place to stay and a path to walk. We are all free to choose what we want to do.
Logan will consider this for a moment. I worry that this place you have provided for him brings nothing more than encouragement to throw himself.
Do you think I wouldn't be jumping on it as well?
I never thought that.
Again, I tell you. Our totem is the underdog. Our cause is to fight for death and life. When your life is dedicated to something you care about, you don't mind when you lose.
It just seems as though his life, he seems ready and willing to give up his life at a moment's notice. And while that's admirable, why that's how we're supposed to live for Gaia. We're supposed to be ready to make that irreversible sacrifice at any moment.
Perhaps I should tell you a little bit of the circumstances behind the Kinvolk situation. Alan saw the problem. Well, actually, no. Alan was reached out to. There was a problem.
I know this.
He brought it to us. If I didn't think that was worthwhile, I would have had gone with that hunt. Not gone with that mission. Not gone with that task. So you know what's keeping him from throwing himself at every stupid little thing? The pack is. A person can be rational. People can be rational.
It seems I owe you an apology then.
No apology is required.
Alan was one of the first Guru to welcome me into the sept.
He's a good one like that. I don't typically do that. Maybe it's a problem with myself, but I am a little bit more standoffish until there's something to be done. And perhaps that's a failing on my part. And again, that's why I like him. Having packmates is very much a complementary of different skills, not just in the mental or physical side, but also in the people side of things. You would not send a bleeding heart to go intimidate some ruffians, would you? You would not send a battled heart and grizzled old motherfucker to go babysit children, would you?
No, I would not.
So yes, your concerns are valid, and because you have those concerns, you brought them up. Also valid. And now you are seeing my side of perceptive. How do you find it?
I find it acceptable. Though I do believe that my opinion on the matter matters a little.
I never said it didn't. This is what people don't understand. There's a hilltop. One person's on one side of the hill, the other one is the other side of the hill. Which one has the true perspective on the hill and the valley?
Logan's eyes are kind of widen at that. I I've honestly never thought of it that way.
Experience, time, and hardship. These will be your teachers. Learn well, and they shall teach you much. Even when you fall down and fall into the valley, you can always get back up and climb up again.
Thank you. Thank you for teaching me this.
Is it in all things an edifying evening? To be told, I expected something different. I expected some, well, unpleasantness, accusations, maybe a fight, tooth and nail. Oh, this I did not expect. It is a happy, interesting situation, and I thank you for the opportunity.
I didn't. I did not wish to fight you. Fighting you would do nothing. Fighting you would only compound the conflict between our packs.
Hmm. Would you like to hear some perspective?
Sure.
Your moon sign, it's the new moon, isn't it?
Yes.
That is the sign of subtlety, the sign of distraction, the sign that does things quietly without need for glory or honor. You're not a full moon. You don't need that spotlight. You're not a Gallia. You're not a givering moon. You don't need the story to tell. Well, you're not the lull bringer. You're not the half moon. You're not the crescent moon. You don't have to worry about the spiritual side of things or the ethical side of things. You are the new moon. You are subtle. You do things that are necessary. That's it. And you know what the Striders have been lacking a lot lately?
What is that?
Subtlety. Blade, if you could teach the Striders subtlety, not teach them maybe the spotlight isn't the right way to go. Maybe a story doesn't need to be told. Maybe the rules need to be forgotten for a night. You could teach them that. You would do a world of betterment for the Garu Nation.
Subtlety is not their strong suit. It is mine only because I've had to live subtly. I've had to live not rem-
Blade, look me in the eyes. Start over. Tell me again.
tell you what again.
Tell me your answer again. Don't look away. Look me in the eyes.
I'll try.
That's not an answer. That's an excuse. Tell me your answer.
Yes.
This is acceptable?
Yes.
Blade, you are gonna go far. Just don't get cut down, okay? I understand your state and the conditions is therein. But if you come this far, I do believe you will continue further.
Thank you. I've already attempted to teach Travis how to move more quietly. That is not going well.
He's a funny one. He's a good party man, I believe.
Hmm.
Sometimes we fall into being the teacher, sometimes we fall into being the student.
That's true. It's very true.
Now, tell me, Blade, will the clock bell ring? Will the students get to flee into the summer? Or is there another brick in the wall?
This bell will never ring on the physical side anymore. But another will take its place.
Then school will be in session. Is there anything else you will require of me, or am I free to take my leave?
You're always free to take your leave.
Oh, but I'm having such a fun time discussing things with you.
It's been a while since I've sparred with somebody in this manner.
Come on, it'll be fun.
I actually have to drive my sister to work. So I would love to do this. It's just I have to drive my sister to work because it's like Logan's like super excited right now.
Okay, this is what we'll do. We will sort of fluff it a bit. There is a somersaulting the bat wolf man thingy. He launches itself. The man on the bottom grows 2 inches and sort of does a cart flip. And they spar for a bit using more agile strikes and swifts and dodge and blows rather than pure girth or strength. And they are go about this for a time until the bats finally hear a ringing in the tower, bursting out, which signals the end of the fight, and 2 combatants leave, more or less intact. How about that?
But pleased. Logan doesn't leave this circle unhappy or ignored or disrespected. He leaves hopeful, not only for himself, but for Alan, who has become something of a new friend to him. So, and I think that's where we'll end it. So, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been an episode for the Living World of Darkness, the Guru venue. Please have a good morning, a good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good night.